Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Legends of Takaful, a podcast series proudly put together by Actuarial partners celebrating 40 years of Takaful in Malaysia. So, who is a legend? It's easy to look back and see who is a legend, as hindsight is 2020. But what about the current leaders in Takaful? Who will be the legends of tomorrow? In this series, we'll sit down and have a conversation with pioneers and founders of Takaful in Malaysia. People who truly shaped the industry, going beyond the numbers and finding out what really inspired them, their challenges and struggles, as well as their insights. We truly hope that this will both help drive Takaful forward for the next 40 years, as well as assist countries in just starting out with Takaful. In the first 10 years of Takaful, there was only one operator, Syarikat Takaful Malaysia, or STM. Anyone entering the STM office during those days knew things were done differently. The first time I went to a meeting with the CEO there, Datuk Fazli, I even remember having to take my shoes off at the entrance of the floor. They had a monopoly at that time, and they focused on establishing a presence, rather than having the cheapest rates and fierce competition. Back then, the loss ratios for motor business were noticeably better than conventional insurance, which was surprising due to the small size of STM, and the need to be large and strong enough to control the workshops. STM used Bank Islam branches as the main distribution source. The second entrant was Takaful National, or TN, the Takaful operations of the national insurer MNI. TN is now Etika and focused on agency force distribution during those days. Those days we had heavy debates on whether it was acceptable to have agents selling Takaful, promoting actually, as how the model would work, as until that point we used a Mudaraba model, with the operator paying most expenses out of surplus sharing, which occurs at the end of the year. Several years later, Maybank obtained a Takaful license, and TN eventually combined with Maybank Takaful to give rise to Etika, which had a full lineup of agency and bancassurance distribution channels for Takaful, as well as conventional insurance. During the same time, the first re-Takaful operator in Malaysia started, Actuarial. So whereas the first operator relied on bank branches, and the second operator relied on its existing agency force infrastructure, Takaful Ikhlas, starting 10 years after TN, had to start from scratch. This led the CEO, Datuk Said Mohib, to drive a number of innovative solutions, including bringing the Wakala model over from the Middle East. This represents roughly the halfway point so far of the Takaful journey in Malaysia. Several years later, the era of the multinationals in Takaful began, with a range of global insurers and reinsurers recognizing the potential of this market. Prudential in particular brought synergy to its products, creating Takaful equivalents of its conventional insurance products, especially unit-linked plans. This was also the time that Bank Negara really strengthened the regulatory focus on Takaful through JPIT. Regulations were held fairly consistent between Takaful and conventional insurance, with the goal of creating a level playing field. Today, Takaful is at a crossroads in Malaysia. Although we've come a long way, we still have a long way to go to rival conventional insurance in Malaysia. Will Takaful focus on consistency with conventional insurance? Or will there be increasing innovation in the models used as well as market segments focused on? Will we be able to use Takaful to increase insurance penetration in Malaysia, especially underserved markets? Insurance in any form is about managing risks and building trust. Takaful can truly be key in many market segments in building this trust and forming the foundation of a population that understands its risks and how to manage them. This is the foundation of true financial literacy, which must be a goal for the next 40 years. Actuarial Partners has been involved since the beginning of Takaful in Malaysia and has been involved in some way with all the Takaful operators here. We truly hope that this podcast series is useful and the next 40 years of Takaful development is equally exciting. Malaysia boleh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum and welcome to the 7th episode of the series Legends of Takaful. The series aims to celebrate the individuals who have contributed to the development of Takaful in Malaysia. As you know, 2024 marks the 40th anniversary of the establishment of the first Takaful operator in Malaysia. Today we welcome Zainudin Ishak. Zainudin has had an illustrious career in insurance, Takaful and the reinsurance industry in Malaysia. Zainudin, welcome, and firstly, thank you for making time to join me in this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start by telling us a bit about yourself, maybe your background and how you ended up in the insurance industry.
Thank you, Zainal. We known each other for many years. As far as I remember, when I first joined the industry back in 1989, 1990, actually. You are already a big shot then. And you look at the journey that I'm sure you have been monitoring or you've been supervising to a certain extent. Some of the things that I do or where I am and what I do in the industry. But actually, I started the industry is not by chance. Like many people, it's by chance. Actually, it's by choice. I studied insurance in UiTM back in 1984. And why I studied insurance? After SPM, after finish high school, due to lack of career guidance, at that time, Zaina, if you remember, the application for university is not online. So you need to do manually and you need to have the form. You need to purchase the form prior to the result, you're getting the result, if you remember. I don't have the form. So meaning I can't enter any university if I don't have the form. That one is pre-purchase, yeah. And I so happened, I got quite a decent result for my SPM, which qualified me to enter university. The only available institution that have this form still available for buying is UiTM. And so I purchased the admission form. And the next question is, you have a lot of courses. What do you study? Engineering, accountancy, public admin, or banking. What do you study? So I asked my elder brother, so what do I study actually? I don't know what I want to be, but for sure I want to be successful. I want to have that opportunity. So then he said, I remember, because he was a formerly UiTM student as well. He got a friend that studied insurance, didn't manage to complete the CII, but earning a very good salary. He said, wow, this sounds like a good plan. So I decided to apply for Chartered Insurance Institute, UK at the time. It's an external qualification in UiTM. And of course, during the induction, I would like to share my journey during the induction of the onboarding as a student of UiTM. Yeah. So during the orientation committee or OC, they call it, saw me, Zainudin, what do you study? Chartered Insurance Institute. Oh, you'll be selling door-to-door policy after this. Okay.
That's so bad.
Yeah, so that's not so encouraging, right? Selling door-to-door. Okay, never mind. I persevere. So 1 week or 2 weeks, I don't remember, maybe 2 weeks of induction. Then I have to start to enter the class, the proper class, where I met the rest of my classmates. And all my classmates, I came from Kampong. I need to talk to you a little bit about my background. I came from a very small village in Negeri Sembilan, from Rembau actually, Kampung Bonge, where we hardly speak English. We don't speak English at all. So I can understand English, but I can't speak English. Because we don't. Who want to speak English in the kampong, right? So communication is a big issue for me then. So you enter the class, and suddenly you have people from urban, town, big town. They speak English like a proper Englishman. And I can hardly compose a proper sentence, in English. So I become very quiet. Okay, never mind. I persevere again. Then the lecturers, those days, if you remember, do you have this United Nations plan? You call it Colombo Plan.
Yes, Colombo Plan.
It's United Nations Plan for Education, actually, where the lecturers from India, it's paid by UN. It's from India, not Pakistan, and Sri Lanka mainly, Bangladesh as well.
Yeah.
They are more advanced in insurance industry as compared to our country. They are our lecturers, and automatically they can't speak Malay, right? So everything has to be in English, and their English is not really an English the way we understand it, because the way, if you know what I mean, is it's a bit unique, you know. So I decided to give up actually. This is not for me. First, I need to sell door to door. Then I can hardly make friends because everybody speak English in the class. I can't. And I can't communicate with the lecturer. So obviously, it's good for me to give up. You know, so it's by choice. Then I decided to give up. So I went back to my kampung. I have to sell this thing to my late mother that, you know, I think this is not for me lah. I want to pursue, because there's an option then, is doing the Form 6. You know?
Form 6, yeah.
Yeah, Form 6. So I would now decided, okay, Form 6 is for me, not this CRI thing. Form 6 is for me. I even met my headmaster to convince him to recruit me back. So he said, okay. So I got a place. I need to sell this to my mother. My mother used a reverse psychology. You know, he became very sad, upset, and all that. And he bribed me. He gave me 100 ringgit. Then he said, you go back, you try, and you persevere. Of course, I don't want to upset my mother. I took the 100 ringgit bribe, so I went back to Shah Alam. Then I persevere. To cut a long story short, in 1984, a class of 1984 have 80 students altogether. After 5 years of perseverance, 4 people qualified as full-fledged ACI, and I'm one of them. So that's the story.
The story here is that, you know, you just need to persevere and maybe a little bribe.
No. I would say it now. I would say to the DN as well. Study CI or any other professional paper. I've seen so many people that brighter than me.
Yeah.
But maybe lack of perseverance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you need to have perseverance. I think is the number one. Of course, you need to have a bit of brain lah. You know, if you persevere, you don't have brain. But there are a lot of brighter students didn't make it because lack of perseverance. I think there's something we need to talk about our industry about perseverance after this.
I think it's good, something which is, I think, our audience will appreciate, because the issue here is wanting to do something badly enough that you would actually persevere. I think when people do not have that, you know, wholehearted approach to whatever it is they're doing, even though you might be bright, you know, there is also the possibility that you will not succeed. So so when you left UiTM, basically, the first company you joined was an insurance company. You did not go sell insurance door to door.
No. So lesson learned, insurance is not a door to door. You know, it's not. And lesson learned also, insurance. But Amanah said you can make a lot of money. It's not really a lot of money, but it gives you a very good career. I would say insurance. We'll talk more. Zainal. Insurance is, I would say, is a very well kept secret. You know, not many people. Because in insurance, in general insurance, you can be an engineer, you can be aeronautical, you can be civil, you can be underwriter, you can be anything, because the skill set to become an underwriter, you require all those knowledge.
Yeah.
Right. So back to your question. So I joined the industry as a management trainee of a company by the name of Commercial Union.
It's a British company.
It's a British-owned company. So I got my training there, and then fast forward, I joined. Also now it's no longer available. Trust International. I don't know you remember.
Yeah, I think Subri
was there.
Trust International.
And then after that, because when you first join. When you have a very small salary, 100 ringgit increase in salary is probably 10%, right, of your salary, right? Yeah. So because of the opportunity then, 100 ringgit, 150 ringgit jump in salary is a 10%. So meaning it's a 10% increase in your purchasing power, right? So it's minimal. Of course, now 100 ringgit doesn't mean much, but those days it mean a lot. So so I keep on joining company, and I jump because of opportunity. Then I joined a national insurance company, general insurance, MNI.
Oh, you were with Amanah.
I was with MNI.
So Dr. Fazli, he was there, or he left already at that point?
No, he
left already at that point.
I think at that time,
it was after he started up Takaful Malaysia.
Yes. When Mazlan and Dato' Anwar Snawi was the executive chairman. Those days, you were allowed to have executive chairman. Yeah. Mazlan was the CEO of the general. And then, of course, I don't report to Mazlan. I report to the late Hamdan Mat. I think you remember doing large and specialized risks. This is where I'm properly introduced to the nitty-gritty of the insurance industry, because Amanah is such a large organization. It gave me the opportunity to learn about underwriting, reinsurance, sales, marketing, claims, all. And then, of course, the opportunity to meet people from international. And suddenly, as I said, I can hardly construct a proper sentence in English. Because of that opportunity, I have to force myself, I have to, learn how to, Amanah is good in terms of it send you for training. Even they have courses for dining etiquette. Yes. You have spoon. They have that
finishing school.
They finish, public speaking. How to, media training. And suddenly so I'm exposed to this kind of thing, which at a very early stage. At that time, I'm still early 20s.
All right.
I'm my early 20s, and then they sent me to Penang to serve as a branch manager. I remember. At the age of 26, I'm the youngest branch manager of MNI. If you know, there's a couple of other senior guys, So in the branch manager meeting, I'm the youngest. Of course, as a youngest, you have to do a lot more for your seniors. So that's where it gives you opportunity to learn as well. So then after MNI, and or fortunately for me, I got married actually. After
is this because you were the branch manager? Or
before I was a branch manager.
Before you.
So and I got married, and I thought that we can try this long distance relationship. Being
so
married.
Your wife stayed in KL.
My wife's in KL. I'm in Penang. For the matter, the building in Penang, where Etika is now, I purchased that one under instruction of Anwar Snawi. So one of my first job as a branch manager is to look at a property to become our, head of branch office, a proper branch office. So it's a dilapidated property. It's a pre-war building. It's leaking everywhere at the Penang Street. If you go to Penang now, so I would say that I have a role in purchasing.
So you had to renovate
at the age of 26. I don't know how many people at the age of 26, doing this kind of responsibility. So then I, of course, as I said back to, I don't think we will work. So I'm looking for opportunity to come back, and then there was an offer by a company by the name of Malaysian Insurance, formerly American Foreign Insurance Association. So this is used to be American company and bought over by Fleet Group. Established in 1950. It's quite a long company. It's quite an old company. So then I come back.
Back to KL.
The main motivation actually is the wife is here. And then because of my years in MNI, then I understand the business of MNI, how they run their business, the relationship, the connection. Because in insurance, not only that you need to have a good relationship with the customer, but you need to have a good relationship with the intermediary, the brokers, and the reinsurers internationally. So if you are able to link all this, you can become very successful actually.
Sure, okay.
So I brought that knowledge, that linking and networking and all that to the American Malaysian Insurance. Then we become one of the biggest insurance company general insurance company in this country before they are being purchased by Allianz. The American or AMI after they changed to Commercial Assurance. They are the leader in engineering and property and making a very good proposition, disruptive strategy in respect of the retail, especially on the motor.
Yeah. So let's move on to from AMI. Basically, you moved to where did you go? Because I think your exposure to Takaful only started after you moved to the next company in your journey, as it were. When you first
actually it's still in AMI because I stay. So AMI become Commerce Assurance. Part of the fleet group, then part of Commerce Asset due to the corporate restructuring. Suddenly we become a part of a banking group, and where the ultimate parent company is Commerce Asset Holding. So during that time, we have a sister company by the name of Commerce Life, previously Amal. They have a task force, a team that being set up, to secure a Takaful license.
What year was that?
Probably 2004.
2004.
Yeah.
So basically, you were in the team to apply the Bank Negara for a Takaful license.
Yeah, I'm not part of the team.
Oh.
I know that they have a team, because as I said, we have a life company. Then they are being entrusted by the group to, we have this opportunity, let's work on this one. And they got a license, if I'm not mistaken, in 2005.
Was it a composite license?
It was a composite license. So you look at you have the first Takaful, the monopoly Takaful, monopolistic Takaful, the Syarikat Takaful. Then you have Takaful National, MNI. Even MNI, I have some exposure being a branch manager. I have to serve the Takaful as well. So but very quite limited, and my time there is also quite limited. Then the third one is Maybank. I was Maybank. They got a Takaful, and then Ikhlas. So CIMB, Commerce Asset, probably they are the fifth Takaful operator to be given a license. So when they got a license, obviously they need to fill up with a operating team, right? Operating team. So they open to people within the group. You can apply. At that time, I didn't apply. Because I thought I'm already a hot shot, general insurance guy, making deals. Very small salary, but I have a very formidable team that can make things happen. So I really enjoy doing things that I like, Again, I probably overuse this word, disrupting the market, making deals and all that, And the team that we assemble also a very formidable team, which I can share with you. Most of my team members are basically a future CEO towards later in their life. Okay, so I have a very strong core team that support me. I really enjoy, but very small salary. So I ignore that opportunity, and so the Takaful run by the task force. So they select among themselves. So I think someone is being selected to lead the Takaful. So they're happy. I'm happy. Okay, but then less than 1 year after that, the board, my CEO, come and talk to me, saying that, Zainudin, I want you to be the CEO of Takaful.
Okay.
I said, no, I'm happy. And and I said, you must be ridiculous because I'm not so Sharia people. I'm not so Sharia compliant people. Let's
Sharia compliant.
I'm not. Okay, let's be honest about it. It might risk reputation. You might risk reputation.
Yeah.
I said, no. The board decided that you should lead. Because being a chief operating officer or is basically general manager operation. That's my former job title in commerce assurance. So basically, I'm taking care of everything lah, excluding finance. So so claim, reinsurance, all that. So I'm very happy with my job. I have a very good team. Even with a very low salary, I don't want to trade the thing that I really enjoy for something that unknown. But I don't have a choice. They say that I don't have a choice.
I see.
So then they said that if you are not Sharia compliant, you need to change.
Well, I like this terminology. If you are not Sharia compliant.
So if you are not Sharia compliant enough, so I said, okay, looks like I don't have a choice. It look like I don't have a choice. So truly, then that's the So suddenly you have a maverick in the because
you're not Sharia compliant. You don't really fully perhaps subscribe to the Takaful.
No, yeah. Okay. So meaning the rest of the other CEO, they in terms of their character, outlook, and all that.
We had people on this podcast. Sort of say, this is my calling.
So they are like that. So and good for them. They have received early maybe. So in my case, so this is how
your journey,
my journey started, right? So I then looking at the challenge then as an you look at the state of readiness of the board member because what is this? Is this an enterprise? Are you going to make a lot of money from this business, or you want to have market share, or what do you want to do? Because you got a license and you pay 100 million as a paid capital, right? At that time.
For the license.
For the license, So what I mean, and due to that, the board feel that I probably the right people to their opinion, to solve their problem. So it's already running for less than a year, maybe 10 months.
Was it a CEO at that point of time? Or?
Yeah, there was a CEO at the time.
Okay.
So they
wasn't doing enough to satisfy the board. So
it's not me who but it's the board who decided that they and because the board also they are familiar with my style because as a COO of Commerce Assurance, I have to attend board meeting as well. So it's the same board that managing Commerce Assurance and Commerce Takaful,
Right. Okay.
So probably have seen me in action or in action, in the board, and they feel that okay, Zainudin, I think you should be the one.
So basically, you given this task. I mean, you did not really wanted the job. You're quite comfortable doing what you were doing. And then now that you're thrust into that position. And the board has got high expectations because this is the Zainudin that comes to the board. He impressed us in terms of his knowledge. And what Takaful wants now is someone that maybe a bit more slightly different, if you like, in the outlook compared to the current Takaful company. So that's quite exciting actually because the board had the foresight to say that if you want to enter this market as a late entry to the market, you have to be disruptive. And then we have this young man here, basically, who shows promise in be a disruptor
or pretend to be intelligent,
Well, anyway, so what were your strategy? Because you saw the Takaful market at point in time. At point in time, five players already, all right, and you didn't really have a strong agency force.
No. In fact, agency is not in the business plan altogether because the sister company, the conventional, they have terminated, if you remember, even the existing agency force. So it's going to be a corporate, direct, and bancassurance.
And also, basically, you never had exposure to life insurance before.
No.
So now you are head of a composite company.
I do a little bit during Amanah's time, but a short one when I was a branch manager, about 1.5, 2 years. So but I barely can say that I have a good grasp of life business.
Okay, but now you're a CEO. You got life in general. And Takaful is starting from zero. You don't have an agency force, but you have the bank.
We have the bank.
Do you have experience of bank insurance at that point of time?
Yes, we do, because we do a lot of prior to this deal, acquisition of Takaful license, being part of the banking group, but it's more of a general proposition.
A general insurance.
So more of DMTM, firehouse owner, or personal accident. So it's more of a general insurance. Bancassurance. It's not wealth management, So I also bring another opportunity into the equation.
Yes.
Meaning the readily available opportunity is bancassurance, as you said, or corporate or whatever, and leveraging on the group. During my time as a CEO of Commerce Assurance, as I said, I have a relationship with the client. And this client think that I should continue to serve them.
All right.
So when I moved to the Takaful, they are readily available or blindly want to follow me.
But effectively, from the group perspective, it was okay because you were in the insurance business. Now you moved to Takaful. So it's still within the group. So just moving from insurance to Takaful, basically.
Except that this is where I suppose my naivety, and it caused havoc actually at the group level, because I didn't know under the shareholders agreement or the sale and purchase agreement, when they sold the general to Allianz, I think they omitted to look at a factor, Zainudin factor. They are hoping that Allianz will get the entire book of business, preserve that business.
Allianz bought over the
They
business.
bought over. This happened at the same time.
Same time, simultaneously. So it was not moving from business in one part of the group to another part of the group. Because you already sold that business. So effectively, you are actually taking over.
Yeah, but they sold the business after I become a CEO. So meaning, it's not that, so meaning is something that they have not factored. But anyway, as I said, it's naivety. I should have think of that one also. It caused a lot of issue. So they summoned me to Singapore, and all that, shareholder, and the group decided, okay, let's exit general insurance completely to minimize, because it's a risk. Zainudin is a risk, right? Because insurance is all about relationships,
Yes.
So people want to, how do you reach it? Also, I can't, and probably that is not captured under the agreement as well.
Okay.
So they decided.
Yeah.
Decided to stop doing general business.
Okay.
So meaning, Zainab, if you look at if you are able to retrieve the accounting record of Commerce Takaful Berhad, that's what they call CTB at the time. Commerce Takaful Berhad is the first Takaful operator probably in the world who make profit for the shareholder on the first year.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I understand the concept of critical mass. So the wakalah fee are able to pay for management expenses and all that. Of course.
Bear in mind, because I think it's a very important point, because the fact that you're a composite, right?
Yeah.
Because the life business, the life primary Takaful takes a long time to grow.
Yes. So so if you want to invest, so there are things that if you are able to achieve a critical mass as soon as possible, you're able. So certain company, like the first four, that we mentioned earlier, they struggle. I think 10 years or more to achieve a wakalah, a ratio of management expenses. But for Commerce Takaful, because we are able to achieve especially from the retail side, we are able to, inject business due to my personal relationship. as soon as possible, motor, and then we are able to get the wakala, and with the wakala able to pay. But anyway, that caused a lot of problem as well.
Of course, yeah.
Because of infrastructure bottleneck. Because my team, the IT, or credit control, they are not ready because it's a small company.
Yeah.
It's a small company, and then you have a lot of other issues. So they, on hindsight, if you want to, if you have a critical mass, but you also need to make sure that you have a good infrastructure so that you don't have a day two problem.
A day two problem.
Yeah. So we have that issue. To manage,
They were not. You were not able to outsource some of the services, because of the fact that because you already sold the general insurance business.
Yes, we can't. So we have to build the infrastructure. And Aviva at the time, they are strong in life. They are not able to spot, but Aviva UK at the time they do have Norwich or something. They do have a strong general, but regionally they don't have a proper general insurance to support our business. So it's a waste actually. It's a good opportunity. It's a profitable first year, but because of the corporate issue, then we need to let go that license because Allianz is I suppose not fairly happy with the deal they purchased. That they are not probably getting some of the business. As I say, it's due to my naivety. So the group decided to exit, general insurance, general Takaful completely, and they then concentrate only on life. So looking at the life, so meaning you start from zero.
No, but what happened? I understand. You have a composite license. I mean, you stop.
Yeah.
So
you run off your general. You don't surrender. You just run off.
After 1 year.
After 1 year.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So this is very interesting, But you look at the size.
I didn't recall that, but yeah, I mean that's very, very, very odd, basically.
Yeah.
But that was a corporate decision.
It was a corporate decision.
So now you have lost your wakala fee.
You lost your wakala fee, and that's probably that's my half of my skill, or more than half of my skill set.
Yeah.
I'm not able to use, right?
Yeah.
I'm not able to use.
Yeah.
So that the time has come for me to make my next move lah.
Yeah.
Right? So you to undo, and then I need to undo the 1 year business. You need to undo facing the client back, your customer, your friend. It's a very it's a very difficult,
stressful.
very stressful. Very stressful.
So basically after 1 year you lost your general business.
Yeah.
So your wakala fee now is back to nearly zero.
Yeah.
Your workforce, if you like, now has got to undo what they've learned, in that 1 year.
Yeah.
And you don't have a distribution.
Yeah.
So you have a very big challenge now. And then
Yeah.
your background per se, you don't have much in terms of family Takaful experience.
Yeah.
So tell me, how do you actually go to the next stage in terms of even your personal development as well?
Yeah. So it's again, I become a CEO at that time when they decided to put me as CEO at the age of 39. So relatively young, even by today's standard. I suppose 39 is a very tender age to have this kind of issue, right? Corporate thing, so there's a lot. I said there's a lot of naivety. If I were to do it again, maybe I will do it differently. So I need to. It's a crossroad, right? So I need to decide. Okay, nobody pressure, so I can look at the business model again. Maybe discuss with all the stakeholders. Okay, what do I do next? So probably so at the same time, I can also find other opportunity. Yeah. So there's opportunity that coming and knocking, at my door. So I decided then it's time for me to move to another challenge. Yeah. So this is where the next phase of my life, I joined a multinational. I joined HSBC.
So how long were you at Commerce then?
15 years from the day, because I don't resign. I joined the company, then the company changed name, they promote me, and until I become a CEO, 15 years.
15 years.
So actually, I got promotion from within.
Okay.
So I don't short jump to be promoted.
Yeah.
I joined as a manager back in 1992, 93. And then when I resigned, so I stay, same company. My letter offer remained the same, except that, change job title and all that, until they make me as CEO and all that. Back in 2009, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So because we left off when you 1 year already, you now you don't have the family general takaful business anymore. So from that date, how long were you in commerce before you moved to the next challenge?
So I served close to 3 years.
3 years altogether. So 1 year as a composite and 2 years as Malaysia Life. And then you moved to HSBC.
So I try to unlearn and relearn, and I think there's at I think not that I didn't attempt, but I suppose since there's a better opportunity that doing a composite, and then the opportunity given by HSBC at the time, because at the time insurance in HSBC group is about contributed 20% of the group profit. So I met the regional head in Hong Kong, and then the head of insurance in Canary Wharf in UK. So I'm being sold. You know how they on board, how HSBC, this is very unique, how they on board people as part of their team. They even brought, first I have to, they bought me ticket actually to be in Hong Kong to look and feel, the regional office. So without letter of offer yet. And my first meeting, after that they gave me a letter of offer. They asked me to bring my wife
to Hong Kong.
Yeah. So that then you have a lot of other HSBC CEO regionally. Everybody is supposed to bring their wife. So when me and the rest of the other colleagues have meetings in HSBC, Hong Kong Central, the wife is taken care by the regional CEO wife. Just to expose how, in Hong Kong, because HSBC Hong Kong is very structured, very, very strong presence,
Yeah, of course.
So my wife said, "Dear, this is the company that should be working, They really treat you well. Okay, good. Am I so happy?" So this is one of, I suppose, my experience as working in multinational. If they really want you, these are things that, little thing that they do, that you become very committed.
Okay. So you joined HSBC. I think they got a license again. At that point of time, it was only was it still a composite? HSBC?
It's a composite.
Still composite.
So four takaful operator composite license. So namely HSBC, MAA, Hong Leong, and one more. I forgot. GE. Not GE. GE is later. So the four, basically four.
Right. So now you're back in that composite. Life in general.
Yeah. But with a proper. So this is where in CIMB, I don't have a proper guidance on how to do business plan, the future of takaful. How do you position yourself? What kind of proposition? So I learned so much about bancassurance actually in HSBC. They are very strong in terms of customer proposition. In fact, I remember because when I joined HSBC, they are already in operation for 2-3 years. So this is not a startup company. So, but they are in distress because of, I suppose, they need to have some kind of leadership. So I'm there just to provide leadership, especially, navigating the dynamic between the banking people, as well as we as a manufacturer. So it's more of like a PR job, make sure everything work well. Because if you're doing well with the bank, with HSBC, you're going to be doing well on your own because they don't do agency. So and they are doing very successful in Hong Kong, in Singapore at the time, regionally.
Okay.
Their bancassurance system, I suppose, is best in class at that
Best
time.
in class.
Best in class at that time. In fact, fast forward, HSBC Amanah Takaful win awards
Yeah.
on bancassurance, even better than conventional. We look at the journey. When look at my first job of looking at product and proposition is the wealth journey.
The wealth journey.
Wealth journey. So you look at all the CEO need to be able to sell this. You have 5 minutes after this session, I can sell you this as well. At what age, at what product, what are your needs, and what are the proposition. You have the accumulation, protection, decumulation and wealth transfer. So this is basically the stage of your life.
Journey.
The journey. Of course, in your case, probably wealth transfer now at this age, right? How do you transfer your wealth? So what are the product that's suitable? So each product have to, I would say that it's at the same time a lot of Islamic value as well. Because it's very fair, because they emphasize on value for money.
Okay.
Treating the customer before Bank Negara impose on value proposition, value for money, treating the customer. This is the thing that we need to do on daily basis.
Sure.
So even there are products that we have to stress test and we have to cancel and tweak because it's too profitable.
Yeah.
How many company, responsible corporate citizen where you need to reprice or because it's too profitable.
Well, I guess the point you're trying to make is that if it's too profitable, that means the product is not value for money.
Yes.
So from
and these are not Takaful. This is conventional. So when you apply for Takaful, we are able to champion this. And one of the very successful product during my time with HSBC is retirement.
Retirement product.
Retirement product.
Yeah.
How many people talk about retirement? In order to sell retirement, you need to have a retirement study, right? Report, they make reference and all that. So HSBC have, published, a very good in Hong Kong, regional retirement. So when the sales force, the bank, the wealth management people talk to the customer, they are able to have a very decent conversation about retirement.
So you have them trained, if you like, in terms of the journey, retirement journey.
So it's on the need base.
On the need base.
So we don't ambush people. You're out of Maidin supermarket. You're within 5 minutes or 10 minutes whilst you're carrying your trolley. Then you are pushing your cart to your car and somebody is trying to sell you, I don't know what product. That's what happened, right? Typically, how insurance are being sold.
Yeah.
But in HSBC, they study the needs of the client, the profile of the client.
But this is because of the fact that they have the information, because they are actually clients of the bank.
Yeah.
So because this is where you have the referral system, whereby the bank would refer potential client to the Takaful operator, and then Takaful operator. Would they basically are they introduced by phone, or how is it done?
So it's many channel. One is sometimes it's direct marketing, telemarketing is by phone, but mainly in the bank you have.
HSBC normally the clients are higher wealth people.
So again, the segmentized. So you look at the bank, they are middle to upper, right?
Yes.
So the main client are middle to upper. So they understand the client. So every client have a relationship manager, so to speak. So that the engagement between you see in HSBC, if I'm not mistaken, back then you are not supposed to call client more than 5 times in a year. You're not supposed to call more than that. You are abusing, or you are trying to So if the bank is calling the client not more than 5 times a year, so it's my job to make sure one of the call is about Takaful.
Right.
So I need to have a good proposition. Otherwise, they wouldn't take my product to make that call, right? So they will probably call credit card, housing loan, personal loan, or some other sexy investment, So I need to fight.
That is very interesting, because effectively you have a quota and you have to fight for your space in the quota.
Yeah.
But one thing is unique about the thing is that sometimes people think Takaful is for Muslims only.
Yeah.
Right. But one of the unique things about HSBC Takaful, because we were privy to information, we were actuaries at HSBC Takaful then. We do see that a significant percentage of HSBC Takaful clients were actually non-Muslims.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly in the case of HSBC.
Yeah.
They are color blinded. They are not asking, oh, what is Sharia or whatever. They are looking for
A good product.
equitable
And a good product.
good product and equitable. So if we are able to have these two, good and equitable, they don't, client are quite, they didn't go over there is Takaful, but in HSBC, most of our customer and the profile of the customer are non-Muslim.
Yeah, that was very unique.
Yeah.
All right, so I think where we're coming from is that you have to have in order for you to succeed in Takaful from the wealth management perspective, that you must have a good product.
Exactly.
And I think that's in compliance with Sharia as well. That you do not want to force sell. Basically, you need to ensure that whatever you offer is something which is good for the customer. So Zainudin, I just want to go back to this interesting feature of HSBC client base, because we do have this perception that Takaful is only for Muslims, and we've always tried to dispel this sort of perception, because Takaful is a way of actually repackaging insurance, if you like, in a way which is fair to the consumer. All right, because sometimes insurance can be pretty opaque. Right, so what we're trying to do in Takaful is take away all this opaqueness, make it a bit more transparent, and then be, if you like, be sincere in terms of what you're offering to the client, so that there is a trust between the client and yourself. So how did HSBC achieve that? HSBC Takaful achieve that sort of a link, such that you're able to attract so many non-Muslims to actually participate in the HSBC Takaful products?
Yeah, thank you, Zainal. The look strategy of HSBC then under the retail banking and wealth management. So this is a huge division. Insurance is part of this division, retail banking, wealth management. We are the wealth management part. So it's quite integrated, with the retail banking. So in HSBC, they, as I mentioned earlier, that they really take care the issue of trust issue of the customer. So they do not want to breach the trust. So typically the client of HSBC, especially in Malaysia, they trust the brand. The brand is so strong, they trust the brand. So whenever they have a series of engagement with the client, that we are respective client, the client tend to, I suppose, a bit warm to whatever ideas that the wealth manager are going to propose.
So what you're saying is that HSBC assigns a wealth manager specifically for their client.
Yeah.
So that's where the trust comes in.
Yeah, because you have because of the as I said, the division is retail banking, wealth management. So it's very integrated. So in other part of I suppose maybe the competitor of HSBC, even if you are you have a Takaful and you have a banking, same group, these two are different people. They're quite disintegrated. Yeah, the Takaful is managed separately. The banking was and probably the banking people feel that what are you doing here? I am busy. But in HSBC, this is integrated. I'm supposed to bother them, and they are supposed to accommodate me. So that's the structure, right? So because of the whole thing. So whatever product they will propose, is and the client are very warm up to this because of the trust, and the profile of HSBC customer in Malaysia is middle to upper, and maybe also mainly non-Muslim, high net worth, and because of the trust issue is not an issue. In fact, it's a positive. They are very receptive to a good product, fair and equitable product. That's why if you look at the customer base of HSBC Amanah Takaful, we have more non-Muslim customers. So this is not just to cater for HSBC Amanah Bank, because they also have the Islamic banking. The Takaful product is also being sold to, at that time, to the wider HSBC group in Malaysia. So everybody can pick. Bank, typically you need to have tick the box. You need to have retirement product. So you have Takaful, conventional, tick the box. Because it's easy, because bank, you need to make it very simplified, right? Where you can organize your brochures and, the whole complete value proposition. You need to, education or protection or wealth transfer. So all you will have a mirror of conventional and also Takaful. Unfortunately, there are other products, because of a syarah limitation, or maybe lack of attempt to sanitize the unshariah product to make it Sharia. So I think there's opportunity. There's opportunity. I don't think we should just reject. No, this one is not because of this. Because you need to understand the spirit of the product, and then we need to sanitize it. We need to engage, with scholar. There's one institute that do this thing.
You're talking about basically, okay, HSBC is a big multinational, so they do have a range of products. And when you visit CEO or HSBC Takaful, you have access to this product. And this range of product is available to all the customers of HSBC, whether it's HSBC Bank itself or HSBC Amanah, which is the Sharia compliant banking side. But what you're trying to say is that, in terms of the suite of products that HSBC has, some are not necessarily Sharia compliant, so you're not able to offer those products to the base of the bank customers. So you're saying that effectively more effort should have been done to see how to
a proper research. Yeah, a proper research. What we need to understand, what are the issues, why scholar deem is
not Sharia compliant.
So we need to, and then how to, is there, so we need to get all the best brain, from Actuarial, from how to make it. So you need to address this issue. Of course, if truly you cannot address it, then we can. But I don't think it's enough attempt, to my knowledge, to look at this, because the easiest is cannot. Why? Because negara say so. I don't think that's the right approach. I'm sure there is a way to find, a proper. As I said, research is very important. Zaira, you need to do research.
Okay. That's an interesting point from the perspective of, in terms of competition as well. Because maybe we can touch a bit on this. Because in Malaysia, basically, we have a parallel system. We've got the conventional system and we got the Islamic financial system. I think for Malaysia, we're a bit unique in the sense that we do have rules and regulation that governs each of this system, as it were. So, but when it comes to the customer or the policyholder, they are actually given this choice. They're saying, look, we've got this product. This is Sharia compliant, this is non-Sharia compliant, or sorry, that product, we don't have it in a Sharia compliant manner, you can only go for conventional. But in the end, you are also not just looking at, trying to convince the person that you should buy your Takaful product as opposed to other Takaful product, but also Takaful product as opposed to a conventional product, right? So we have this market, as it were, whereby we got this competition between Takaful companies and between Takaful and insurance. And you brought up an interesting point that effectively, as far as HSBC is concerned, yes, they got this whole suite of product. They don't have a conventional insurance license in Malaysia.
They don't.
They only have Takaful.
They only have Takaful. And they outsource the manufacturing capability at that time, the manufacturing capabilities with other partners.
For investment, you're saying? When you outsource?
No, outsource meaning distribute other manufacturers' product.
So also the HSBC also bank also distribute other Takaful and insurance product?
They distribute only at that time. The deal is they will distribute other conventional product.
Other conventional insurance product.
Yes.
But Takaful is just basically yours.
Yeah.
So okay, so fine. So I think we'll maybe touch a bit in terms of this. Do you find that from the perspective of the market, you are at a disadvantage as Takaful compared to insurance, or is it such that you think that there's a level playing field? Personally, I don't think a level playing field necessarily is good. Because you're looking at market development. Takaful is new.
They have years or hundreds of years.
And also you brought up a very interesting point, a very important point, is that in order for any Takaful operation to be successful, you must have scale. And sometimes, many times actually, it becomes difficult to achieve that scale. And until you achieve that scale, you are basically not going to be profitable, and therefore, you're going to have problems in terms of justifying your existence going forward.
Exactly.
So do you achieve scale at the point of time HSBC? Do you able to get the Wakala fee?
Yes, at that time. You look at it,
and the competition. Do you think? How do you deal with the competition of conventional?
HSBC operate. They are composite. They operate purely on bancassurance as well as some direct and corporate client. They allow flexibility. In terms of Wakala versus management expenses, they have achieved it, meaning it's a very viable and sustainable business moving forward. That's the most important thing. And one of the key critical, reason for Takaful to be successful in HSBC, because being the CEO of Takaful, I'm part of the bank's exco. So meaning every month I have the right to sit among everybody, head of retail banking, head of corporate, head of market, with the rest of the other, because I will represent insurance to them, oblique Takaful. So meaning, even dealing with the manufacturer, is my responsibility. So meaning I'm able to balance, between so meaning the interests of Takaful are being taken care. So there is a balance there. Of course, I need to be fair for the conventional, because there are people that, so we have a complete product. So this is, I suppose, is the unique structure of HSBC. I'm being the CEO of Takaful. I am part of...
You have a voice, if you like, in the overall management.
It's HSBC Malaysia Exco, they call it. It's a formal committee where, so if I don't like, or if I feel that, so I have the opportunity, right, to voice. So, and I suppose everybody is taking our business seriously. And we become like a serious business. As part of the whole HSBC Malaysia, we become like a serious business.
Well, it's quite unique in the sense that HSBC is it's a foreign bank. Basically, they come to Malaysia, and effectively, they actually they're respectful, if you like, in terms of Takaful.
Exactly.
And the evidence that by the fact that you have a seat in terms of the group management team, whereby you would argue out, in terms of your product and why they should promote it. I think these are key factors.
So structurally
successful.
You need to have this. You have in comparison with the competitor, they have bancassurance agreement, and they have bancassurance steering committee, which nice on paper, but in reality, you look at if you do audit, how many people attend, how many senior people that on behalf of the bank that attend, and how many time that they miss target and all that, and how then they address the target. In HSBC, I can just every month say to my CEO, at the time Mokhtar Hussain, boss, we have an issue, and then the head of retail banking have to answer, right?
That's another interesting
So of
point.
course I don't say that in meeting because they treat me well. So so that's very important. Structurally, strategically, when you want to have this, you need to have they sit at the table, so that you are able to champion your cause and not necessarily causing trouble, but people have to give you that opportunity because they know that you have the mean.
I think maybe inadvertently you sort of raised one of the big thing now is this Banker Takaful agreement or bank insurance agreement, whereby an insurance entity or a Takaful entity pays a lump sum to the bank for the right to access the bank's customer, if you like. And your point is, yes, they could have some kind of committee, a banker insurance committee.
Steering committee. Sounds
committee.
like a very nice, powerful committee. In actual fact, in my experience, actually is.
So because the attendees of this
are very junior people.
Are very junior. And you pay a lot of money for that.
Yes,
and it doesn't really work.
So if you really want to, matter of sharing. If you really want to have a banker takaful agreement, you have no choice. But it still you need to have this committee. But make sure the component, the composition of the committee has to be very senior.
You have to provide an agreement.
You have to pay an agreement. And that it have to be reviewed, at the board level or whatever, so that it force everybody, all stakeholders, to be committed and be accountable. That's most important thing, right?
Committed and accountable.
All
right. I think that's good advice because a lot of money exchange hands in this.
Exactly.
So anyway, so I think that's quite unique, in terms of your approach to bank insurance or bank takaful, and the fact that you're very successful there. Evidence is the fact that a lot of non-Muslims in your database. I mean, we were very surprised. 80%.
Exactly.
Non-Muslims, in terms of your clients in HSBC. So it does mean that it's a matter of effort. And so when you do takaful, you should not limit yourself to just basically the Muslim market. That you have a good product that's transparent, that thinks on, what if I were, a customer, how do I want to be treated by the bank or the takaful company? I think that's very important, and that's very much Sharia in terms of its approach, because it's fairness, it's transparency. And I was quite taken aback with the fact that that you also consider if a product is too profitable, then you should not be selling it.
You should not be selling it.
Because I don't think that is something that most corporates would actually be too concerned about.
In my years before that, now, if it is profitable, sell more. And you get a good reward because of selling very profitable product.
But and this is another very, very important point as well, that sometimes people actually miss, that when we say takaful Sharia compliant is end to end. It's not just in terms of the product, but it's end to end in terms of the product design, the product pricing, how you actually distribute the product, maybe after sales services. It also has to be, best in class as far as Sharia is concerned. It's not just simply, product and sales and profit. So I think it's something that, given that we're now 40 years already in takaful in Malaysia, more effort should be made that we are seen to be end-to-end Sharia compliant, and actually to define what it means to be Sharia compliant. Maybe we've not yet had that kind of definition. Let's move on to the fact that you were actually chairman of MTA. And we have in Malaysia, we have got this Malaysian Takaful Association. It is basically an association which represents the takaful operators in Malaysia. So tell me a bit in terms of when you helmed the chairman, we call it president, we call it
chairman.
Okay.
And deputy chairman.
And you deputy chairman and chairman. What were your sort of views in terms of what should be the role at MTA? And during your time as chairman of MTA, what do you actually initiate to actually come to make sure that, to ensure that Takaful becomes best in class, as it were, in terms of an industry?
Yeah. Okay. The time I'm with MTA started when I suppose when I lead HSBC. Yeah. So I attended my first meeting, and during that time is the election year. That was in 2009. So I attended the AGM. Then there's a vote to, Suddenly, I'm being nominated as, at the time the chairman is Temizi, so outgoing chairman is Haji Temizi, and then Tan Tuan Haji Said Muhib at the time, yeah, as a deputy. So the selection, suddenly, this is something that I really, scratched my head after that. I received a vote from the EXCO because all the member, and my vote tied with Said Muhib actually as a chairman.
Okay.
And this is my first meeting, yeah. So Said Muhib is the deputy, and suddenly people think that I should also be considered as a chairman.
Yeah.
So it's a stalemate. And Haji Temizi, being Haji Temizi, is very diplomatic. So we go back to our respective office. Then in the afternoon, he received a call. Zainudin, can I propose that Datuk Said Muhib to be made as a chairman, you as a deputy? No problem.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, no problem. So then I become a deputy of Said Muhib for I think 2 years, 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's 2 years.
Then he resigned from his class. So he need to let go
of the position.
So I have to serve. I have to continue until the full tenure of another 1 year, and then AGM. There is AGM. So I become acting, and AGM. Then they elect me as a chairman. So all in all, 5 years, 6 years as a deputy, acting and chairman. Okay. So quite a long. I suppose I am probably the longest serving chairman and deputy chairman of MTA. So when I look at the MTA then, here is an association, a trade association. It's very important to have a strong structure, meaning basically people, yeah, and then a strong financial mean to finance your activity. Yeah. And of course, you need to have a very good engagement with stakeholder, namely Bank Negara. So how do we do this? And we need to have some activity that really make Bank Negara, for example, impress. That we are thinking, we are not. So at that time, we are being, one of my, I've been called by Dato' Baharudin, I think the deputy
Bank Negara.
Dato'
Baharudin, Baharudin or Baharudin?
Baharudin. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So he said that, Zainudin, you need to be like Piam or Liam.
This is
a benchmark.
This is a benchmark. Liam is the conventional life.
So I've been summoned to his office quite a number of times, and he give me some advice. If in order for people to respect your industry, you yourself have to self-regulate, bring standard and all that. He said, okay, Dato', at the time, maybe he's not Dato' yet, but, I have to convey this to the rest of my executive committee member. Yeah. We need to raise the standard. We need to have the money to finance this, and we need to have activity. So we decided to recruit. Fortunately, before that, if just maybe manager. So we found somebody to serve as our CEO, Azli. So we recruited Azli. MTA, yeah. MTA. So then we strengthened Azli into various division, put people, nice office, and then we need to find money. And finally, we work with IFIM in respect of the how to get source of fund continuously. For example, the agency certification is one of the way. When people register on board agency, you need to pay a fee, exam, and all that. And then MTA probably will solve it. And the rest we have to survive on levy. So so it's not so much taxing. So we have various means to So we started with zero and all that, and we planned the journey. And I'm proud to say, Zainal, I'm very proud to say that there's a couple of activities that we have. Really is a game-changing, I would say, a profound and a game-changing for the Takaful industry in Malaysia. Number one, I would say, our decision then to embrace ISM. So meaning, all the data that we have, statistics that we have, that we used to submit to negara, we also submit to ISM. So that they are able to compile the statistics of the industry. And then anybody who read the ISM report, I'm sure ISM, for the benefit of the audience, is the Insurance Services Malaysia, which do a lot of compilation of the
industry data.
Yeah. And they also interpret the data now. They have the ability, because they have some actuary or some semi-qualified actuary, but probably you need to do more to help ISM to interpret some of this data. So you look at, until today, Liam is not submitting to ISM.
Yeah.
So
you initiated.
How do you benchmark life industry? Difficult.
Yeah.
You have to do hearsay, do some call, how much you do business. I mean, these are, you can't. You need to have a proper record, available, public domain.
Yeah.
People pay for it, will get access to it. So that's, to me, is very profound, because if you want to raise standard, these are things that you need to do in your planning and all that. Compare yourself, benchmark yourself with your competitor.
Sure.
And second one, which I think is quite profound also, is we commission a study, which I think you are partly or greatly responsible for that as well, is the protection gap.
Protection gap study. It was done by my firm at the point of time. Yes.
Yeah. So why we do protection gap? And I mentioned to you just now, in HSBC, we have retirement gap study. So from that report, you are able to sell retirement policy, retirement protection, Takaful and whatnot. From that study of protection gap, then you are able to understand how much is the gap and what can be done. All these things. So they become like a conversation, a proper conversation. It's not a guesstimate. What is the gap? You can't. You need to have a proper. Unfortunately, that's the only study done by MTA, because I left after that. It should be not every year, but at least every 3 years. So that, is there any different,
whether improvement or not.
So because it's very important, because a study like that can be used by academician, by investor, by journalists, by strategy people, by people like, you need to have that kind of literature. Unfortunately, we don't have that kind of, authoritative kind of, report that people can rely when they do research.
I think that's very important, because I think I remember when you launched that report, you had someone from government as well attending the report.
Yeah, Negara, and the Deputy Finance Minister also.
The Deputy Finance Minister attended. And I remember that very well, because the Deputy Finance, normally, when government people come to this kind of launch, they stay until you have the
gimmick,
the speeches and all the gimmicks, and then they leave. But this particular Deputy Finance Minister actually stayed to listen.
Listen to your presentation. It's a very dry presentation for a minister, right? But he stayed. I'm glad he stayed.
And he stayed. And what I'm trying to say here is that, it's also important for government to have some kind of statistics to be able to, make decision appropriately. Now, if you don't have data to back up your decision, if you like, it can be very difficult to defend it.
Exactly.
So I think that we
policymaker, government, they need to rely on this data. What is the potential gap? And you need to have independently prepared by company like yourself, and it has to be done continuously. It cannot be a one-off.
It cannot be one-off, but unfortunately, it's been one-off so far.
So, whoever is listening, maybe, should take this, And these are being done, more than 10 years ago now. You look at, this thing.
Being updated.
It's not being updated. So I would say that's, back to your question. In my time as chairman of MTA, these are, and the final one that I would like to share, this thing I think also very profound, is the before my time as a chairman, you have this industry award, Star Night, but it's just a gathering of get together of the Takaful industry. During my time, I introduced a national award for best bancassurance, best agency, and most importantly, best CSR.
Okay.
You know why? Best CSR is actually CSR and Young Takaful Manager of the Year.
Right.
And these two awards, CSR Award and Young Takaful Manager Award, typically my guest of honor, I used to have Raja Nazrin as
Sultan of Perak.
He's at the time he's a regent, and so happened he's the ambassador of MIFC at that time.
All right.
So it's easier using Bank Negara, and he's kind enough to accept the invitation, and he gave two awards. And I, as a chairman, I said, okay, we cannot dilute his presence. So these two awards must be given by the Sultan. One is the CSR, because why? Because I want Takaful and the citizen of Takaful industry to consider doing something. The CSR is something that you're being recognized. And I want the company to think, the CEO of to have a good KPI, because they want to receive the award from Raja Nazrin. You need to have a very good CSR, right?
Yeah. So there's competition.
It's a competition. You allow, this is again benchmarking and competition. It's good. So, and all these things, then you have who is the judge? The judge of is people from outside. The people I even have Price Waterhouse to audit, and they become the secretary. So you come like, this is not you pay, like you now attend award, you pay for table, and then you got award, and you publish, suddenly you are Euro money or whatever. Yeah? So without disrespecting it. Yeah, but it's just that this is a award that really
Sharia compliant.
Sharia, and prestigious.
Prestigious, yeah.
It's prestigious, and independent and prestigious. So we introduced that during my time, and the other one award is the Young Manager of the Year. Young Manager of the Year. So the idea is, we want to make sure people invest on people. The company invests on people. Then you have people, one day that can serve back the industry. And these two awards in the ceremony is given by Raja Nazrin, the Sultan. So it become like, okay, people observe that, attend. Okay, next year I want my people to win. I want to have that kind of feeling. All the CEO or the board, I want, the one, we should be one of the winners. These are the, so that it raise the profile, right?
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things, Of course, get the money, get activity, and I think this is a very interesting story. So after the dinner, Zan Nazrin gave, because he came, I think, twice, giving the award. We invited people from Bank Negara as well, Datuk Bakrudin. Then I'm summoned again by Bank Negara.
Yeah.
Okay. These are the things. There are when you have king or you have VIP, there are protocol.
Yeah.
When you're seated at the table, you're not supposed to go toilet. If you have to go toilet, you have to sustain it. So the Bank Negara is very particular. Then you need to advise your member. Those who are seated at the VIP, they can't just take photo and do whatever.
They can't do Wi-Fi.
They cannot. These are things. So I have to tell my members. This is because they're basically young people. Yeah. So these are the other side, whilst we are so the readiness of our people, they mean the CEO, right? So those who are invited there at the VIP table also have to be teach. And lucky for me and some, I received my training from MNI. Remember in my formative years, there are table etiquette, so you have to be there, and that's it. There are things, but so if you are promoting someone to my advice to people to take a higher role, these are things you cannot take for granted.
Yeah.
You cannot take for granted. You need to make sure that they understand and
protocols.
The protocol. I think there's another lesson learned there.
Yeah. But let's move on, because I think I think your tenure as MTA sort of introduced quite a few innovative kind of events and maybe directions as well.
Yeah.
But go back to this thing about this competition, if you like, in conventional and insurance. Do you have any sort of insight in terms of how Bank Negara basically look at this in terms of, they do want Takaful to succeed, and I'm sure that, as far as the Takaful industry is concerned, they do want to succeed, and for those listeners who are, in other countries, what's the role of the regulator, if you like, to ensure that, Takaful has a chance to succeed? Because Takaful is young, and I go back again to this thing that having a level playing field is not necessarily good. When you have a situation whereby you want the industry to grow, because the developed insurance company, not developed, the more mature insurance operations, they do have the infrastructure, they have the people, and like you mentioned, I think before we came to this podcast, for Takaful operations, you might have only one person in a department when a foreign multinational might have 10. So it's difficult for them to keep up in terms of what they have to do. So do we have in Malaysia that situation whereby Takaful entities having to struggle to comply with regulations? Generally, I'm not asking for specific.
Yeah, this probably might be quite relevant. Probably 5 to 10 years ago, where Takaful at stage of development at that time, with the introduction of many supervisory, requirement, compliant requirement, and you have to embark or embrace the RBC. Then you need to Takafulize. So and all sort of compliant issue are happening at the same time, and it's got profound impact on the Takaful development at the time. You look at the chart of the growth of Takaful premium or contribution, you will see years of stagnant.
No growth.
No growth. Because of everybody are so busy, me including at the time managing, are so busy, and so because we are so fearful of non-compliant. Until we become frozen. And we are not really innovative. And I was invited by Bank Negara again during my time MT, to see what happened, and I shared with Bank Negara, the highest office of Bank Negara, that these are the issue, structural issue, and they take note. And I think again perseverance, through perseverance and all that. Now I suppose the number of regulatory requirement imposition, the latest one is the MFRS 17, right?
On the accounting side.
That one is
killer.
Also, it kill everybody, right? Well,
tell me what it is. Yeah.
So, but I don't think the impact is similar if they were to introduce 10 years ago, where Takaful is still at now Takaful have a bit of size, a bit of meat, a bit of muscle. It's not skinny anymore. Those days it's just skinny. You double head. You can be head of compliance. You one person actually in job title, but actually is carry many responsibility. But now Takaful have, because of the you look at the current state of Takaful in terms of market share. This is very interesting, which we had a conversation earlier about this thing. In terms of new business, not talking about enforced policy. Enforced policy, because insurance already exists probably 100 years. Takaful probably exists 40 years, monopoly 30 years at the most, and the full blown, if you look at, is the last 10 to 15 years. That's the real growth and trajectory of Takaful growth. And if we were to study the last 10 to 15 years, the compounded annual growth rate of Takaful industry is more than 10%.
Sure.
And the CAGR, or compounded annual growth rate for conventional, is about 1%, 1.5. You look at the statistics. And you do this trajectory. You look at the double positive jaw. You look at this trajectory. And I've developed this chart, which when I retire, I give it to someone. When we had a conversation, actually I wanted someone to refresh that chart. Because I have a theory that by the year 2030, Takaful will overtake the conventional, which is true actually. Because at the moment, life new business, as at 2023, if I'm not mistaken, is about more than 40% now. In terms of policy count, in terms of the number of certificate in force, in 2009, it's about slightly above 2 million policy count certificate, and now it's about more than it's close to 6 million. So it's 3 times the Takaful policy count number of certificate, and conventional from 11 million to 30 million. So they are growing, but and you do a projection now. You do a projection policy count, and this will determine the letter that enforce. Of course, the premium enforced policy in terms of asset of Takaful is still lower. It's about now probably only about 15% of the size of the overall conventional asset, because they have been existent longer. But I'm talking about the last 15 years. The trajectory of the growth the last 15 years is very interesting.
Okay. So there's the Takaful, even though it's 40 years in Malaysia, the real growth is the 10-15 years.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think, we can go on forever in terms of talking about the industry, but maybe we can sort of end off by looking at where, you have alluded to this in your sort of what you mentioned just now in terms of the growth of Takaful, but maybe we can basically just quickly see or discuss, where do you think Takaful will go from here? Because I think, if we look in terms of Malaysia, when we talk about the protection gap is still very wide, especially in the B40 group. The B40 to below 40% of our population as far as earnings is concerned. And I think, the industry is very much aware that they've been given this responsibility to actually, not just look from the perspective of profits, but also look in terms of maybe their social responsibility to be more inclusive, right? So what would you think would be, how do you think now the industry can actually achieve that? Because, when I talk to boards, they would say that, we have a responsibility to our stakeholders, i.e. our shareholders. So they need a return on their investment. And, they do understand that Takaful also got a role to play in terms of sort of closing the protection gap and be more inclusive, if you like, to the lower income segment of our population. But how do you think that could be achieved, given your experience in Takaful?
Yeah. When you look at in any study of protection gap, there's always a solution recommendation, and it's always a terminology or acronym. We call it public-private partnership, right?
Yes.
PPP. It's always there, you whether it's formed by yourself, by international, it's always because. And I think in some part of the world, it's very successful. And in our part of the world, it's fairly very successful when government have this pelindungan tenang. Pelindungan tenang actually is partly to address protection gap, and they should review this and maybe to a certain extent continue this. But of course, you need to improve it to, minimize abuse. Like any other thing, there are a lot of abuses, abuses of this coupon, right? I can vouch for that because I missionary run the scheme on behalf of Benegara. So I know issue. Sometimes they ask me to call certain insurance company. Sometimes the insurance company call me on these things. So I'm managing all this. So we need to make sure that we refine the Pelindungan Tenang, because the spirit of the Pelindungan Tenang is where those underserved, when you need to onboard them, by purchasing a protection policy, and then they should enjoy when they are being onboarded, and they also should enjoy. So that the policy of Pelindungan should allow, maybe, for example, for the lack of better statistic, certain, reasonable claim ratio, so that they have the experience of making a claim as well. So they should enjoy, so that they feel, because
they complete the journey.
Yeah. So instead of they now
pay,
they get nothing, right?
Yeah.
They never. So now when they onboard, okay, they have a choice. Okay, there is a need. So I need to have this. Okay, we onboard you. So when you are a part of client, you are entitled for this. And then because of the policy is designed for them to make a claim. Yeah. Then they will enjoy the claim, and then, so that it educate them on protection.
Yeah.
They should. I think that's But how many people talk about Pelindungan Tenang in this manner?
Probably very few.
Very few, right?
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that we revisit Pelindungan Tenang, and try to eliminate all these abuses. Suddenly you have this association and you have one minister or whatever, then suddenly and we have to Pelindungan Tenang cannot be a group. You cannot have a group, because when you group, then suddenly people are not aware that they are being onboarded.
As bad as that, is it?
Yeah.
They don't know they're onboarded, they won't make a claim.
Yeah, they won't make a claim. Yet they are claiming coupon from government. Right? So it's a sizable fund. We need to manage, and we need to perceive, and then you have to run professionally. And again, you need to have independent people like AP or whatever to supervise this money, right? So that people are making, so that you
have to be transparent as well.
And then you need to spend time on marketing. So encourage people, Pelindungan Tenang. Oh, okay. Basically, it's a voucher, right? So you want to purchase, you can use this voucher, but you can select. So it create awareness why I need to have protection. So back to your question, on how to improve. PPP is a must, but implementation is an issue. We need to make sure that the real people that really need the protection, they are being onboarded. Then they enjoy the experience of being onboarded, and they enjoy making a claim.
Yeah, no, I think that's quite profound. I think the point we made about making a claim can be a bit of a challenge, though, if the policy is just, accidental death.
Yeah.
So maybe in terms of product design as well,
exactly.
you need to consider something which they will pay. They get something at the end, maybe a return, a premium or something. So they can enjoy making a claim. But anyway, I think perhaps we can finish off in terms of this podcast. And any advice you might give, to aspiring young men or women, who are looking for a career, who is considering Takaful, and given your experience and the fact that initially, you were not necessarily fully Sharia compliant, and that later on.
Not yet at the time.
Let me correct myself. Yeah. But you need to be able to sort of give some advice to.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, in my years of managing a team of people, and I'm fortunate that I have the opportunity to run a very interesting team. Whether it's in commerce, assurance, these two are basically, and HSBC. These are my main, Takaful kind of, present, and I'm glad to share that those my direct report in these two organizations. They are currently a CEO on their own right now.
Yeah. So you've trained people to take over.
And most of them, or all of them, in the Takaful, for example, I think the CEO of Etika, Sharul, is used to be my direct report. The CEO of Zurich General Takaful used to be my direct report. The CEO of Zurich Life used to be reporting to me in HSBC. the CEO of Met Life used to report to me, my head of sales, Azam. You know, Nizam, of course. You know, so you look, and Noazman used to report to me on product. Is now the CEO of STM. So I'm fortunate enough to meet these people, and you know, and they are very successful on their own right. Okay, and then you look at people. How do you replenish talent? You know, how do you replenish talent? In our present market, you look at if there is opportunity in PNB, EPF, QAP, where they're looking for? Chances are they're looking at Maybank, for example. Maybank provide a good, very fertile for talent development. So whenever there is opportunity, PNB, or chances are, or maybe other banks vacancy, they will look at Maybank, right? MNI used to serve that as well.
Play that role,
Yeah, MNI.
A talent pool.
Talent pool. So beside you are making money, and you are creating. I'm one of the product of MNI. Yeah.
So I think the point here is that it's very important to develop talent. I think for Takaful to actually be successful in the future, you must ensure that it's got a steady stream of talent that understand Takaful and basically subscribe to the operating model, and inshallah given the right kind of talent, Takaful will be successful.
So
and it is something that I think young people should consider.
So if I can add, how can this in Takaful within this context, certain company which is far more senior should be the place where generating future talent, right? And this is the question need to be answered actually. Where are these people? What kind of leadership, exposure? So our industry is still incomplete if we don't have a core like banking, as I said, Maybank. They are the core. So they provide a lot of other things to the
including basically how to behave around sultans.
Exactly. You need to, so somebody that think very detailed. I mean, you provide a leadership. So this is how to make successful. So back to your question. So it's a very interesting industry. It's a lot of opportunity, but it's a lot of gap. There's still a lot of gap. But things where we are now is much better than we were.
Thank you to people like you, who have been able to develop.
No, I'm very scared looking at this. Legend of. I'm not actually. I'm just accidental.
It's a marketing toy.
I am accidental. People that so happen have rezeki in Takaful, and when I'm there, I try my level best to the best of my ability.
I think Zainudin, I think we have to be very grateful that there are people like you, if you like, who basically see as as a jihad. Jihad you got to use very carefully. But in terms of a purpose in life.
You're right now. It's a dakwah actually. Not jihad. It's a dakwah. I mean, we look at these are things that I don't intend to. But when I share with my team, the best form of dakwah is. Not that you go and tell people, but first of all, is you work in this organization, and you have a customer, they are not a Muslim, or even they are Muslim if they are not practicing Muslim. But because of the way you treat them, you answer before 3 ring, you call, and then you are very responsive. You are, and then when they finish the conversation, the transaction, the client say, "Wow, what an experience of this company." So that impression that they give to the client, and then it will attract. Then they will share with other people. Hey, why don't you go and this company? They are. So to me, that's the best form of dawah.
Okay.
You promote Islamic finance. But by not preaching, but by just doing what you're supposed to do.
Okay. I think we will stop at that. And the key there is a better way of promoting Takaful is through dakwah, basically, to actually walking the talk.
Exactly.
And ensuring that the people who come to Takaful gets the full Takaful experience. On that note, I think we'll end this podcast. Thank you very much, Zainudin, for basically making time to join me today in this very interesting conversation. Thank you, everybody, for making time to to listen to us, and inshallah, we'll see you again in future podcasts.